So you're looking at Indiana, young team. Last year in the finals, Miami's playing OKC. OKC, a young team as well. And now you're mentioning now they're playing San Antonio. San Antonio has the experience, has the big bodies that you say could be an advantage for playing against Miami because Miami's not that big, inside there. So would you expect this series to go the full distance, and would you expect there to possibly be an upset?
Yeah, I remember listening to ESPN around the mid-season, and they were talking about San Antonio could do this, and they could get into the finals, and they were probably the best built team to give Miami a run. But it was even then, it was kind of laid out that they might give them a run, but Miami would run away with it. But as I look at the way that San Antonio has played through the playoffs, and they've just gotten better, and I think something that's really going to help them too, just because they're an older team, and Tim Duncan obviously is the oldest on that team and the most experienced. The most miles on his body at this point. This is perfect for San Antonio. I mean, they've been resting, they've been waiting, and now they get a team that's just gone 7 games and has to go right back into the finals. So I mean, it totally plays into San Antonio, and like I said before, an experienced team, and they can use that to their advantage. I think they have a great shot at winning it. I still think LeBron is by far the best player on the planet right now, and I don't think that alone is going to be enough to get them over. I mean, I think LeBron was probably top 3 or top 5 best player on the planet in 2007 when they met the Spurs in the finals, and it was just him. Basically, it was LeBron and 11 scrubs against the Spurs, and they were swept out. So Miami's going to need the secondary, the third players, the role players, Ray Allen, Mike Miller, Chris Anderson. They're going to need all those guys to step up and help them out. And they're all going to have to play well. You can't have Bosch tailing off. You can't have Wade production dipping, even if he is hurt. They just got to find a way to kind of be productive and at their best, because I think if they're not at their best, San Antonio can absolutely take it.
You mentioned about the fact San Antonio swept their series. They've had time to rest up, whereas Miami's basically had a really tough series. Sometimes people would say the advantage would go to the team that had the tough series just because they're battle hardened. And if they needed to find something, then they'd find it like Miami did last night, and that would carry over to the finals. Do you believe that, or do you believe rest is a good thing? Because some people would say when you have a gap like that, you just lose the kind of routine, and that could come to play in the first game, as I believe it happened to Miami in the first game of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. And that first game is going to be big too. I mean, that's Miami's opportunity to jump out and kind of steal it. Not necessarily steal it, but just to grab that first game. Because and I think you see the same thing in hockey or football team at the bye week or something where like you said, you get out of that rhythm of just the grind of the playoffs, and it takes you maybe the first half or quarter to get your legs back, and Miami has to jump out on that. And I think all those little factors will play in. I guess, and I think too, Miami coming off the 7-game series, they did the exact same thing last year going into the finals, and it worked out for them then. They're not necessarily young guys, but they're guys in their prime. I mean, I look at LeBron, Bosch, and Wade Wade is the oldest of the 3. But I think that team is still built to just that they can physically handle these sorts of things. But I think over the duration of the series, I think San Antonio being rested will help them. I just think that first game will probably be tough for them.
San Antonio has some players which are long in the tooth. You're talking about Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan. Is this basically it for them? Like this series, if they win it, that'll be kind of like the team that was able to sustain itself for a long time, but the reality is they probably won't be able to do it much longer.
I think so, but I mean, I remember when they won in 2007, I even thought that then too, right? But they just they always seem to be there. I mean, I think as long as I've been watching basketball, San Antonio has been a team that's a threat to at least go to the conference final, if not more, every year. And but I mean, I think you're right. I think eventually the age has to catch up with them, and they have to slow down. I mean, it's kind of incredible just to watch them, adapt and develop over the years. I mean, you think they won their first championship in '99 with Tim Duncan, and they just kind of tweak the supporting cast around them and keep moving forward. And it's kind of just an amazing thing. I think they're kind of a unique team in the NBA, just that they've been this good for so long.
So it's very interesting, kind of storyline here about the team that has a lot of these veterans who maybe this will be their last run, and then take a look at Miami, specifically LeBron James. Now, if he's going to be great, beyond just being the best player in the game and winning the most valuable player X amount of times, how many championships can he win? Because people just define the player by, did he win the Super Bowl? Whatever. How many championships did he win? So if LeBron James, Miami, does not win, does that basically kind of, in your opinion, lessen his value as the preeminent player in the game because he wasn't able to win, 2 championships in a row, 3 championships in a row, say like Kobe or whatever? Or do you just have to sort of look at San Antonio and saying that's a very, very good team with a lot of established veterans, guys who's been there before, and a lot of those guys will probably be going into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, you can make an argument for both. I think the thing, and I know for me, kind of my watching basketball in my formative years, like I said, I think I was really spoiled by watching those Chicago Bulls teams that just they didn't lose, and I think that kind of has created a almost too high expectation of greatness for the players that have followed. I mean, you look at Kobe, and, there's the knocks on Kobe about the same thing, right? Like he didn't win all the finals that he was in, like Jordan did, and LeBron, this is his 4th trip to the finals, I believe, and he's got the one trophy so far, potentially going on 2. But no, I think the big thing with LeBron is even if they don't win it this year, I think they should win it this year. I think as long as he's in there and he gets 4 out of 6 or, or more championships in a row. They don't all have to be in a row, but I think he definitely needs more than one to kind of enter that conversation as the greatest players ever. I think he's definitely one of the most talented players that we'll ever see, maybe that we've already ever seen. But I just think consistently winning is the next thing. It doesn't have to be a 3-peat or 4 in a row or 5 or 6, like they said when they had their little parade when they formed the Big 3. But just consistently winning and getting back to the finals and coming away from it, I think is going to kind of cement LeBron's legacy over the next few years here. And you have to give credit to San Antonio too. I mean, this is a really tough team that knows how to win, and they've kind of just done just what I was talking about. Just they haven't won it every year, but they're a threat to get in there every year. And I mean, you look at Tim Duncan. I don't think you can take anything away from Tim Duncan as one of the best players in the game. Certainly, I think the best power forward in the game. And he doesn't have a big string of championships in a row, but just he has a resume that says he's had his team in it just about every year.